Hey there, everybody. We're the Renegades, and it's RTAA.
I didn't know what was happening. So
I'm trying to, like, you know what? Never mind. No jingles, no fancy schmancy crap. We're the Renegades. We're here to watch some Rooster Teeth because it's RT Tuesday.
Yup.
And Rooster Teeth Animated Adventures. We are going to be doing episodes 81 through 85.
Oh, man.
And we got some good ones here.
We do.
We got some pretty good ones. Okay.
So we're going to start off with donuts for cake.
Donuts for cake. Okay. I have a little bit of a donut story. Short one.
All right.
My buddy, his name's Clint.
Mm-hmm.
And he's originally from Louisiana.
Mm-hmm.
And you know where his favorite place to eat is? Popeye's Chicken. Because to him,
all right,
he says it is the closest you can get to Louisiana cooking on the go. And I'm just like, all right, yeah.
I mean, that's a pretty bold statement.
Oh, it is. And Clint, he loves it. He loves their fried chicken. He loves their Cajun fries.
Mm-hmm.
He loves everything. Anyway, there's a city around here. They have a Popeyes.
There are two cities with Popeyes.
Okay, yeah, two cities with Popeyes. The closest one.
Actually, it's really hard to determine which one's closer.
Okay.
But yeah, okay.
Okay.
No,
we'll
go with
anyway.
I know where you're talking about.
Anyway,
you sort of let it slip. Yeah.
The one there, he recently moved to that area.
Mm-hmm.
And he posted a message the other day, or he posted a message. He's like, okay, I always frequent the Popeyes in this area, but they had to open up a freaking Krispy Kreme across the street from it. Are they trying to give me diabetes?
It's not even like a major street.
No.
It's like a little side street, and there's the Popeyes is right here, and the Krispy Kreme is right here.
Yes.
And you're just sitting here going,
well, dude, I've gone through
God.
there. I've gone through there twice, and I know the times when they have the red hot light on, and I'm just like, okay, on my way back, I'm gonna grab me a 3-piece from Popeyes, and I'm gonna go through and get half a dozen fresh at Popeyes, and dude, holy crap. Chicken and donuts, I never thought would be.
Well, I mean, chicken and waffles works.
Chicken and
Why
waffles
not
works.
chicken and donuts?
But chicken and piping hot fresh donuts, holy crapola, man! I could not have predicted how good that would have been.
And when they're hot, they're so light and just ooh.
Gosh, now I want donuts.
Ooh. Yeah, dang it, Nate.
Yeah, you're the one who was pointing out the lightness and everything of them. Me, I was trying to keep it civil.
We don't even have a Krispy Kreme anywhere near here. Like we couldn't get to one in. Oh man!
Dang it. Well, anyway, donuts for cake. Miles and his friends
who were a little inebriated.
Yeah, well, they all were inebriated.
Yeah,
but anyway,
this.
Donuts for cake.
Do the thing.
Here we go.
This is good.
Senior year of college, I had recently broken up with a pretty long-term girlfriend. She invited me to her 21st birthday, and I was like, trying to be nice, like, sure, yeah, I'll go.
That's really
I didn't
weird.
Go. It was at her new boyfriend's house. So I go to the party with a few friends. I have a miserable time. Her best friend made a homemade cake for her. It was a really beautiful cake. She was all happy, and I'm in the back drinking lots and being curmudgeon about the whole thing.
Yeah,
I finally found a time
do.
where I felt like, okay, I've been here for an appropriate amount of time. I can leave. Okay, let's go. My friend Adam and I had to drive a bunch of our drunk friends home. The last guy that we had to get home was my old roommate, Shay. I tell him, hey, dude, we're going to go ahead and drive you home now. Come on in the car. He goes, okay, hold on. I have to run to the bathroom, and I got to grab something. I'll be right back. I'm like, okay. I get in the car. I'm really bitter. I'm really angry. Shay comes sprinting out of the house. He dives in the car. He goes, go, we got to go, we got to go. We take off. Dude, what's going on? He stole the cake. I'm like, why did you do that? It was a good cake.
Good cake.
My miserable night has done a complete 180. So we're laughing. We're having a great time. We're driving home. Near the UT campus is a place called Ken's Donuts. It is a 24-hour donut shop.
So good.
You mention Ken's Donuts, and all of a sudden, like, passed out Trey goes, we need to go to Ken's Donuts. Well, why is that? Well, I can buy donuts with this cake. Shit, that is a half-eaten cake. Yeah, it is. Yeah. How many donuts do you think we could get with that cake? He stops and seriously stares for like a good 30 seconds.
If I were to guess, I would say approximately 6 dozen.
Adam's like, all right, so we're going to Ken's Donuts. We pull
You got to follow through with it. Someone's got to just
slams down the table.
So, let's make this happen.
The guy's like, let's make what happen?
You know what?
I'm sorry.
Yes, listen, I have sweets. You sell sweets. I think we know what's going on here. Like, I seriously don't know. He slams the table. Are you going to buy my cake or aren't you? Give me donuts. At that point, the guy started to get annoyed and go for the phone, so we had to drag him out of there. And for the rest of the night, he was just sulking. It could have been, man. 6 dozen. But he completely made my night.
There you go.
Well, I actually saw the original. I actually saw this when it originally happened.
All right.
The story's a little bit more elaborate, but overall they get the point across with this. Gus chimes in. He's like, why would you go to her party? He's like, oh, because I just wanted to be nice.
Why the heck would you go to her party?
And it's just because you're no longer together. You are not obligated to.
Not to mention, you guys pretty much just broke up,
Yeah.
right?
So it's still a fresh
that's
wound.
weird. Don't know.
Well, as Gus put it, she's like, so pretty much she was just emasculating you the whole time. And Miles is like, yeah. And then it's like so she brought you over to her boyfriend's house and showed you up by being happy in front of you with her boyfriend, and her friend made her a fresh birthday cake. She was pretty much just slapping her giant girl dick all over your face. That's how Gus put it.
Dang it, Gus.
I know. I couldn't stop laughing. I heard that. I had to pause the video. I was just
on the
laughing.
subject of colleges and 24-hour donut shops. When I was at Tennessee Tech, there was a donut shop near there called Big O Donuts.
Big O.
In the name of God, cast me Bavarian cream.
Bavarian cream's pretty good.
Yeah, they're pretty top notch. There were many times that we would go and hang out at this donut shop, mostly because the internet would go out on campus about once a week. And
Always
the donut shop was open 24 hours.
So yeah,
you know, and they had Wi-Fi, so you'd go there and get stuff done. Also, pretty good donuts. There was also a little donut shop that was not 24 hours called Ralph's, which was where all the older folks hung out. Which I honestly kind of liked because I think they had better donuts.
Well,
and
okay.
There were a couple of times where the internet was out on campus, so me and like 4 of my friends, we went there. We were playing. I can't remember what MMO it was, but we sat down there. Like, we took our laptops, we sat down there, we took up part of the counter, and we just played. And the older folks in there were just hanging out with us. We had a good time.
Yeah,
it was great.
They made you feel like you were home.
And they came over there like, so what are you all playing? And, you know, all this stuff. And it's just like, that's great. It was wonderful. It was a good time.
Well,
memories
make me want to go back there.
Anyway.
Yeah.
All right. Next one. Plane stories.
I got one short plane story, but I'll tell it after we watch.
I don't have any plane stories because I've never been on a plane.
I've been on a few,
but I can't remember if this one includes the quintessential Rooster Teeth plane story.
Well, we'll see.
You just blinded a baby.
We'll see. We shall see. All right,
let's do it.
Here we go.
I got on a flight with Matt. We went through security together. He got his bag pulled, and they went to go through it, and I stood there for a minute, and the lady's like, do you have anything you need to tell me about in your bag? And he's like, no. And then the lady pulled out a knife, like a pocket knife, and Matt goes, oh, that's weird. I guess I left that in my bag. I didn't even realize I had it. And she's like, no problem. Made him go through again, flagged his bag again, had a second knife in his bag. I'm surprised he's not in jail, but he should be. I mean, the dude tried to go through with 2 knives. Then he immediately got like a large coffee and spilt it all over the ground. he was having the worst morning ever.
You guys fly a lot. Do you ever get nervous?
The only time I ever came close to getting nervous, Gus and I were flying back from South Carolina, and I looked out at the wing, and there was like black ooze dripping out of the wing.
Oh, yeah, that's a problem.
Yeah.
They're on the wing.
We just laughed it off, but I was pretty sure we were going to die. One time, you and I were flying somewhere to an event, and it was 2 weeks after a pilot got busted flying drunk. And Gus and I were the last people to get off the plane. As we were getting off the plane, the pilot door opens up, and the pilot like kind of saunters out to say something to the flight attendant, and he had a huge cocktail in his hand, and he looks at us, and we see him, and he froze like a deer in the headlights. He looked at his cocktail, and he looked at us, and looked back at his cocktail, and we just started laughing and walked out. And to my knowledge, he's still standing there. That was awesome.
That's really good.
And to my knowledge, he's still standing there.
That's really good.
Okay, the plane story. The plane story I've got. Okay, I've been on several planes. I've flown to Florida.
Mm-hmm.
I've flown to Mexico,
Mm-hmm.
and I've flown to Canada.
All right.
And the flight into Canada threw me for a loop a little bit because when we were descending in,
Mm-hmm.
they actually had to read off the the weather and everything twice, once in English and once in French.
Ha! Yeah.
And I was just like, does the pilot have to know how to speak French in order to fly? Because if he doesn't know French, I mean, how does it? And I was sitting there just pondering that the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
Just like me and my dad were like getting our bags. Just like, if he doesn't know French, can he look up how to say it?
It could have been the co-pilot reading it.
Maybe.
There you go.
I mean, what if neither of them know it? What if both of them do it? It's like, no, it's my turn. No, it's my turn. It's like, béton.
All right.
Okay.
I'm sure Nate just said something very insulting in French. Let's
Le
move
merde.
on, shall we?
The meld.
Mon Dieu. Oh, Gus on Mars.
Yeah.
Gus, who is at least mildly antisocial.
Okay. Well, actually, okay. That wasn't actually the plane story I had in mind to tell you.
Oh, really?
No, the other planes, the real plane story I was going to tell you. When I was a kid,
Mm-hmm.
This was just after 9/11. I was 14 years old.
Oh boy.
I was
Yep.
14 years old. It was around 2002, and we were flying out. To go down to Florida.
Yep.
My bag gets flagged hard. They see
Uh-huh.
something on the X-ray that they're very concerned about,
Uh-huh.
and they ask, "Whose bag is this?" I'm like, "Oh, that's my bag." They pull me and my dad, where I'm a minor. They pull
Right.
me and my dad over to the secondary checking point. I see this guy get on like heavy duty Kevlar gloves and
Oh.
everything, and he unzips my bag like expecting the worst. He even put on like a gas mask in case
Really?
of anthrax. And I was just like, and he unzips my bag, and he's just like, "What's this?" And I'm like, that's a pack of batteries. And he's like, "What do you use these for?" And I'm like,
Powering.
if you actually
things?
look in there, right beside of it, there is actually a case that has a Game Boy in it. And he's like, "Are you sure that's what they're for?" I'm like, "Yes, sir, that is what they're for." And he was like trying to look for any reason to jump. And I was
Right,
just,
yeah.
and my dad was just like, "Can we go? Our flight's about to leave." And well, it was interesting because me and my dad, we were just like walking up to the plane and everything, and just like, what if they would have held us against our will? And Dad's like, "Well, thankfully, son, they didn't do a cavity search." And I'm like, "What's that?"
And it's just like,
And Dad's just like, "Well, son, I'll tell you all about it one day."
son, I'll tell you when you're older.
It's like, that's what every boy needs to know about being a man speech.
Okay.
Okay.
Well,
moving on.
Well, wait. So I actually had a similar experience
Oh, no.
at a security checkpoint with a Game Boy. I had I had one of the SPs, like the
Yeah.
updated
yeah,
advance.
fold out ones.
Yeah, and I carried that around. I really liked it. And we were going into this museum, I think. I can't remember exactly where, but there was a security checkpoint.
Uh-huh.
And, like you had to empty out your pockets. And, I put my Game Boy through, and the security guard pulls it, and he's like, "What is this?" And I'm like, it's a Game Boy, sir. And he's like, open up, turn it on for me. And I open it up and I turn it on, and I think I had one of the Mega Man Battle Network games in there because those are amazing. And I turn it on and it pops up with the little Game Boy logo and everything. He's like, "All right, you can go on." I don't know what he thought it was, and I don't know that I want to know.
Oh gosh,
But-
who knows, man?
That was looking back on it, that I didn't think much of it at the time, but looking back on it, it's like, yeah, that was weird.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Oh gosh. Okay. I have another story, but it can wait. Anyway,
right. Gus on Mars.
Gus on Mars. Here we go.
I read an article recently about a private company is looking for people who want to go to Mars and not come back.
I would do it.
You would not.
With or without
you
your
say
wife.
stuff like this all the time. My retirement plan's a shotgun. You would never shoot
stupid
yourself.
plan.
You will never go to Mars and not come back.
I will just to spite you. I will go to Mars
spite
out
you.
of spite, motherfucker. The whole time I'll just be like,
Gavin's back on Earth like, oh, I can't believe you went.
Just before your phone leaves the service area of Earth, there's just a picture of you at Earth like this.
We'll have telescopes powerful enough. We'll see you. We're just on Mars like this.
You'd be alone.
I assume they'd send a group of people.
Yeah, so would that help you? You want to go with a group of people?
I need to keep my routine now. I gotta ignore people. I gotta find reasons to hide.
I just imagine him in the spacecraft, like, making tape lines down the middle of the room. It's like, no, this is mine. This is mine.
So, would you go if there was no internet?
I mean, I assume there's gonna be no internet.
Why don't they have Mars internet?
You get a Mars net, you can mail 9 people. You get like 10 Instagram alerts all day long that were just red dirt. I know.
Okay, I actually saw that one live as
right.
well because that was episode 201. They started doing these like full time around 189, and that was right after their 200th celebration.
Yep.
And they did 201. They were all dressed. They all had like bow ties on.
Nice.
And they were all on the old podcast set because they were moving the new podcast set that they'd been using, and just to see them acting it out and everything was hilarious because Gus was just like, yeah, on telescopes on Mars, if I knew you were looking, I'd just be like this.
Yep.
Like it's just like simultaneous FUs in every direction just to make sure you can see me. And the picture that before your cell phone leaves the surface area of Earth, it's just a picture of you at Earth like this.
Yep.
Actually, the way Gavin had it posted was just his middle finger and the silhouette of the Earth around it, just like
That's amazing.
And that's how Gavin envisioned it.
That's even better.
Yeah, I could actually see it. That'd be hilarious.
That's really, really
and
good.
Jordan
I like
was
that.
actually with them on that podcast.
Yep.
And he was like, and I could see his mind working.
Yeah, he's like,
oh, this is gonna be good.
I'm gonna make a thing out of this.
And
I'm gonna make a thing.
That was actually him. That was actually him saying like, and Gavin's back on Earth like, oh, I can't believe he went. That was actually Jordan. Yeah. And I was just like, I wonder if Jordan is just like, okay, I need to say something to spice up the animated.
Yeah,
adventure.
I got to get this going. Yeah, you know.
I wonder if that's how.
You got to play it up.
Yeah, Jordan. But I couldn't leave Earth. I mean, honestly, Mars is an interesting concept. I mean, if they ever truly decide, if they are able to terraform it in some way, which I hear is a possibility, but not likely. Especially not likely within our lifetime.
Yeah, that's probably fair.
So, but they're paying people to go to Mars, which, if that's hold on, sorry.
Oh,
sorry about that.
I remember this episode.
Okay,
now.
so we're moving on now. We have headphones and peeing.
Yep.
Headphones and peeing. Okay, I used to wear headphones to like balance out, the audio so I could hear how everyone sounded. But here recently, I've gotten used to, I know how everyone's audio levels are, and I can usually like keep a good eye on it with the meter that we have here. Through OBS. But I can understand, like, when I wear the headphones that I've got backwards, it's uncomfortable.
Oh, yeah.
There's some headphones you can put on either way, and they're comfortable, but they still have the L and R for left and right, like the proper designation. And I used to wear them backwards all the time. I mean, I didn't really care because it didn't really bother me. But for people who are extremely OCD, like Gus in some regards,
or me,
well,
I might not be that bad.
No, that's what I'm
saying.
But
to be fair, I'm also not, having to manage the audio on a podcast. So
okay, so yeah. And
it's anybody's guess, really.
I can understand Gus's frustration in some regards, but at the same time, that it's him exerting an X amount of effort over something remedial like headphone.
Yeah,
like headphones.
something kind of pointless. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's just like, well, Gus is weird in some ways. Like he talks about like when he goes and gets his iPhone worked on, you know, and they like, transfer the data over. He finds himself standing there and he reaches in his pockets looking for something to do, and he's just like, there's nothing, and he's just like under the realization that he just has to stand there and do nothing.
Yep.
And he just looks at his hands like, I don't know what to do with you.
Yeah.
And I'm like that sometimes.
I've had that moment.
Yeah.
I've had that moment.
I had that whenever I remembered I left my phone in my car, and I was and I actually was like an hour away from it, and I was just like, what do I do? I was like I can't. I remember catching myself like 2 or 3 times like reaching for my phone like, oh.
Yep.
And then later on, like something amazing happened, I want to take a picture. It's like, oh.
Or the worst part where you're actually talking on the phone, and then you think, I need to look something up. Where's my... Dang it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because that happens to everybody. Like, that happens to everyone.
I was so disoriented one day. I came walking into the living room and looking at everyone in there, and I had my phone in my hand.
Yep.
And I went, guys, where's my phone?
And everybody just goes,
And my brother looks at me and he says,
are you
Nate? Or it's right there. And I was just like,
well.
And right at that moment, you know, the moments where you just like feel like the smallest.
Yeah. Yep.
And it's just like
I'll see myself out.
And I just like backed out of the room real slowly.
Yep. And it's just like
okay,
nobody
let them continue
remembers
with their conversation. I was not here.
Yep.
This did not happen. And
yep.
Man, those moments are priceless.
Those are a heck of a thing.
Yeah.
But
anyway, back to the RTAA.
Headphones and peeing.
Headphones and peeing.
Here we go.
Here we are.
So we actually wear headphones when we record the podcast so that we can hear ourselves through our headphones.
Looking at you, I always get super frustrated. How is it you always manage to put your headphones on backwards?
They
Like,
look
do you
comfortable this way
intentionally
around.
put them on backwards?
They look the same.
No, they don't.
New message from Kevin Free. You are a punk cunt.
Jesus.
Siri, that was rude.
Urinate in public, you'll get your put on the registered sex offender
Really?
list.
Where's the weirdest place you peed?
A parking garage of a grocery store in Seattle. We went to this grocery store, and I was like, oh man, I gotta piss. So I go to the restrooms there, and they've got like a closed for maintenance sign over it. And they're long, the sign is
yeah.
like, go to the subway next door. So I go to the subway next door, but they're closed. Like, oh crap. So then I go down by where we're parked in the parking garage, and I just start pissing. And like, as I'm getting close to being done, a security guard walks up behind me. And he's like, what are you doing? And in my head, I'm like, oh shit, registered sex offender list. So I just take off running. I ran around the block a couple times, and then when I was convinced I got away from him, I went back into the supermarket. I was like, guys, we gotta get out of here.
Headlight fluid.
Headlight fluid. Okay. I think that's bull. That law, you know, if you get caught urinating in public,
I don't know. No,
I think maybe you get like if someone sees you, you get flagged for indecent exposure, but unless it's pretty much the law. If no one sees it, is it really illegal?
That's one of those. It's one of those big, but philosophical questions. Like, you know, if a tree falls in the forest and no one is around to hear it, does it make a sound?
Well. But the fact that you get put on the registered sex offenders list forever just because of one little infraction of you not being. I mean, in Gus's case, he tried to find a bathroom.
He did.
I mean, what are you going to do? Just hold it? I mean, honestly, you expect me to damage my urethra permanently and never be
kidney stones?
Yeah, and get kidney stones. I've seen what kidney stones do to people.
Oh,
my dad had a kidney stone this big in his freaking kidney. Man, they had to do the sonic bust. They had to bust up sonically, and then they had to cut a hole in his back and suck it out.
Yep.
I don't want that.
Nope.
But
anyway,
moving on.
All right, last one for the evening. Homeless Depot.
Okay.
I think I might have a story related to this.
I've stayed. Well, it wasn't really on the streets, but there was a time my roommates and I were had a huge disagreement, and I was in this area, but it was before my family moved over here.
Yep.
I did not have anywhere to stay, and I didn't have the money to go to a hotel.
Mm-hmm.
So what I did was I had a storage building that I stored some of my stuff in. Paid $25 a month. I mean, hey,
you're renting the place. Yeah.
So I go in there, and I put the door back down, and I put the padlock back on inside. And I get a sleeping bag. I get one of my sleeping bags, and I spend the night in there.
Yep.
And I gotta say, man, that was a pretty rough night because, okay, my roommates, I had a disagreement with them because they were selling drugs, and I did not know about it.
Yep, that'll do it. Yep. Mm-hmm.
And, okay, selling one thing like selling weed, that I can look over to some degree, but. And if you're selling pills, that's something else entirely. But when you're dealing black tar heroin, that if you are caught, I mean, honestly, if I have the knowledge that he's dealing it and I do not report it, that's 5 years potentially for me.
Yep.
And that's first offense, too. So,
a question: should you be telling the story on the internet?
I was gonna say it. If they can prove it. I mean, honestly, how do they know I'm not just making this up? Just joke. I am not making it up.
Anyway,
but I'm not incriminating myself any further.
All right, video time. Let's watch the video. Okay. Yes. Mm-hmm.
You know how you go to a place enough and you start to recognize the employees? Well, there was this one dude who I would see all the time at Home Depot. So I went up to him and I said, "Hey, you work here, right?" And the guy goes, "No, I don't work here." And I was like, "Are you sure?" And he's like, "I'm pretty sure I don't work here. Why would you think I work here?" And I was like, "Oh, I see you here all the time." And the guy goes, "Why would you be seeing me? Why would you remember me?" And I was like, "I really don't know. I'm sorry. I thought you." Every time I come into Home Depot, you're here. And he's like, "How did you notice that?" And I'm like, I just thought you were an employee. I recognize the cashier, too. And it was very awkward, and I just kind of backed away. But he is there all the time, in my defense.
Your fucking headphones are on backwards again. Like, it's infuriating me. Tonight is my very last night of homelessness. I've been sleeping at various places, including Achievement Hunter.
Did you actually live at the office for a month? Because I noticed every morning I would show up and you were the only one who's here and your hair was disheveled.
Yeah.
See, I'm on board with having somebody here. That way it's like if someone breaks in trying to see.
What do you think's going to happen? Marshall's going to kung fu them out of the building? It's like, yeah, I'm happy to have someone here too. So we have stolen stuff and a dead employee.
Pretty much. Unless Marshall's armed. I mean, that would really be the only thing I could really say.
But, so I've had the experience multiple times where I've gone to Lowe's, and I have never worked at Lowe's, and I've been wearing a blue shirt.
Oh no!
And people have come up to me and said, can you help me find such and such? And I tell them, I'm sorry, I don't work here, but here's where you need to go.
Okay.
And, no, like I know where they need to go.
And
I take them there. But I first have to preface this by saying,
"Oh, I don't work here.
I don't work here. But I think I can help you anyway."
Oh gosh,
that has happened to me multiple times, and it's just like, and they're just like, "Oh, I'm," it's like, "Oh, I don't work here. Oh, I'm so sorry. I thought, no, it's fine. I think I can tell you where you need to go." And oh, well, thank you.
Okay.
This could have gone a lot worse. Yeah, I know, right? Come on, let's go.
Okay. I was gonna say every time I go into Lowe's or any like Home Depot, any home improvement store, I always think about that Ron Swanson moment where Ron gets approached by one of the employees working there. It's like, "Oh, hi, welcome to such and such. Need any assistance today?" And Ron just looks at him and goes, "I know more than you."
Yep.
And then the guy's like, "Okay," and just walks on.
And it's like, alrighty.
It's just like gone. Gus had the same moment when he was at a computer store.
Yep.
And the guy at the computer store was like trying to talk Esther into buying this, and Gus is just like yeah, go away. I know more than you. And
yep.
And it's like it's not really. It may seem like that you're talking down to them in some way, but if you know more than them,
I've got this. Thanks.
Yeah. So
it's fine.
Anyway, these were fun.
These are good.
And as always, once again, guys, we're sorry that we haven't been able to do these as often.
Yeah, recording schedule has been a little crazy here recently.
It has been.
Yeah.
And hopefully the bad days are behind us, and now
Hopefully
we can move forward with these.
Yeah, like directly into streaming, right after this.
Like after this. So
yeah.
Anyway, we're going to end it real quick. Thank you once again for tuning in, everyone. We are the Renegades. This was RT, the Rooster Teeth Animated Adventures. Check all the original videos down in the description below.
Mm-hmm.
Show Rooster Teeth some love. And
man, talking is hard today, isn't it?
Well, it's mostly me. I'm trying to stay awake.
I'm having trouble the whole time too. So don't worry about it.
So anyway, thanks again. We will see you later. Peace out.